Good morning, everyone. In the last topic, we have discussed about the Nernst equation, application of Nernst equation, and some other topics. Today, we are studying about the conductivity, molar conductivity, and the measurement of the conduction. So, when we talk about the resistance, then we have already studied that the R is proportional to the length of a conducting wire. Similarly, resistance R is inversely proportional to the area bisection. So by these are the two equations, that is the equation 1 and equation 2, we can write that R is proportional to L by A, or R equal to rho L by A, where rho is resistivity, R is resistance, L length, and A area bisection. When you will see the conductance G equal to 1 by R, that is the reciprocal of the resistance, or G equal to 1 by rho A by L, and this 1 by rho is called kappa A by L. This letter, which is written similar to English alphabet K, is called kappa, and this kappa is conductivity. When you will see the molar conductivity lambda m, that is the conductivity per mole, so you can write that the kappa by C, where C is concentration. Then this is the conductivity kappa and molar conductivity lambda m. The note is already given to you. From there you can see these are the calculations. So here you find the value of kappa, that is the conductivity, and lambda m, that is the molar conductivity. Here we are seeing that what is the relation of kappa and lambda m, that is the conductivity and molar conductivity, with the change of the concentration, whether the value of these other things are going to increase or decrease. That will we are going to study now. When we discuss about the conductivity, then we discuss about those of the particles which are responsible for the conduction of electricity. So in the case of the metal, it is the free electron which is responsible to conduct the electricity. With the help of the free electron, the electricity is conducted from one end of the metal to the another end. But that's not available in the case of any of the electrolytic solution. So in the case of the electrolytic solution, it's not the free electron which is responsible for the conduction of electricity. It is the ions which is available in your aqueous solution. They are capable to conduct the electricity, and if they are capable to conduct the electricity, their numbers will also matter. So when you are going to increase the concentration, that is the number of moles or the number of anions and cations in your solution, so with the increase of the number of conducting particles, that is the cation and anion, the conductivity will also increase. So you can say that the conductivity is proportional to the concentration. As the concentration will increase, the conductivity will also increase. You can easily see this one. By increasing the amount of electrolyte in any of the solution, you will find that the conductivity is going to be increased. So simply you can say that the kappa is proportional to C. That means the conductivity increases with the increase of the concentration, but that is not same in the case of the molar conductivity. When you will see the molar conductivity, then we find the relation lambda m equal to kappa by C. When you are increasing the concentration, the value of kappa is going to increase and the value of C is also going to increase. So you can't say that the lambda m will increase with the increase of the concentration. When you will increase the concentration, you will find that the amount of dissociation, that is the percentage dissociation, is going to be decreased. So per mole dissociation is decreasing, and as a result the molar conductivity is also decreasing. So with the increase of the concentration, conductivity increases, and with the increase of the concentration, molar conductivity decreases, and that decrease is not same for the weak and strong electrolyte. In the case of the weak electrolyte, the variation is different. In the case of the strong electrolyte, the variation is different. We can see it in this graph. I am drawing the graph. Here it is the molar conductivity, and this is the concentration power half. When concentration is very low, the conductivity is very high, that is the molar conductivity is very high, and with the increase of the concentration, the graph is dropping, and that is dropping very rapidly. That means initially the molar conductivity drops very rapidly, and then it decreases, dropping very slowly. But in the other case, this is the case of the CH3 COONA, that is the sodium acetate, a weak electrolyte. But in the case of the strong electrolyte, that is the potassium chloride, the graph is something like this one. The molar conductivity is decreasing, but regularly. There is not any dip drop condition. There is a regular decrease. What does it mean? What does the graph suggest? The graph suggests that for the weak electrolyte, initially whatever the dissociation was at the lowest concentration, that was the maximum. Afterward, with the increase of the concentration, there was no further dissociation. And in absence of the no further dissociation, it means very little further dissociation, whereas very minute dissociation. So with the increase of the concentration, the amount of the ion does not increase very much, but the concentration increases, conductivity does not increase, concentration increases, so the drop of the concentration takes place. But with the increase of the concentration, the drop starts slowing down, and as a result, the graph is in this way. But when you will see the value of lambda m equal to kappa by C, when the value will be 0, the value will be 0 when the concentration will be infinite, and that condition is not actually arising. So when you will draw the graph is not touching this line, this axis, and neither this axis. That means the molar conductivity is not going to be 0. That will decrease gradually, but not approaching to the 0. So in the case of the weak electrolyte, a dip drop condition suggests that initially the maximum molar conductivity is there, and afterward there's no any specific amount of dissociation is taking place, or negligible amount of dissociation is taking place. But in the case of the strong electrolyte, the further dissociation takes place, and as a result the molar conductivity decreases, but not in a very rapid way, in a very regular way, and that is suggests the further dissociation of the electrolyte. Okay. So we are seeing that with the decrease of the concentration, the molar conductivity is increasing. At a specific concentration, the molar conductivity will be at its peak, and that molar conductivity will be considered as a limiting molar conductivity. Then how we will define it? We will define the conductivity, the molar conductivity of any of the electrolyte at limiting dilution is called the limiting molar conductivity. In the next class, we will study about some of the application of the molar conductivity and limiting molar conductivity along with the cells, primary and secondary cells, their functions and construction. Till then, bye. Stay home, stay safe.